Girlfriend cheated, my son isn't mine but I can't lose him too. Everything feels like it's falling apart. It's only been a couple weeks barely, but in my brain it still feels like it happened a few moments ago. I'm 27 and my girlfriend since high school cheated on me. She wasn't even the one to tell me. Her best friend had a huge fight with her that ended their friendship, and to retaliate she told me my girl cheated on me with this guy years ago. I remember the asshole too. We literally went to his funeral 3 years ago. Now I feel sick knowing the truth. My girlfriend came out and told me everything. She hooked up with him all the time before my son was born. When I asked if my son was mine, she admitted she wasn't sure. I couldn't take it. I had to leave and I've been staying at my brother's house ever since. She keeps begging me to come back so we can work on our relationship. I decided to get a paternity test done and I just learned today he's not my son. I still can't believe it. My mind is everywhere with this. Now that she knows I'm not his dad, she's telling me we need to work on us or I won't get to see him. She's literally using my son to convince me to get back with her. It's so hard believing this was someone I thought I was so in love with. Now I just feel hurt. When I think about never seeing my son again, my heart starts pounding and it's like I can't breathe. I can't lose him. My son means everything to me. He's the best thing to ever happen to me and I love him more than anything in my life. He's only 7 years old. IDK if I can live without him, but she's only giving me the choice to get back together with her. She's only letting me talk to him for a few minutes at night on FaceTime before she tries to talk about our relationship. He says he misses me and I miss him like crazy too. I don't know what to do about this. I don't care about biology or that he's not my blood, I just want my son. Honestly, I'd seek legal advice. For all intents and purposes you're that boy's dad and you both deserve to be able to have a relationship, regardless of if you're with his mother, which by the sounds of things you don't want to be. It's pretty sick of her to treat you this way. I'm very sorry you're stuck in this situation. But really, legal advice and maybe some talk therapy for you to be able to express how you're feeling, because this is a lot to be dealing with. Heart. Yes, get some legal advice. Did you sign the birth certificate? That might give you some leverage. Jesus, what kind of monster is this woman? Obviously is only concerned about herself. Like, how do I raise this kid on my own? Type thinking about herself. All the time, money, etc. It will prob drain her. Of course she wants you there to help. So she is using the kid she has lied to you about for 7 years as leverage. Again. Monster. Depending on what state you live in, there is such thing as a psychological father. Meaning you have been in the child's life, held yourself out to be the father and provided for the child as your own. The state I'm in, Colorado, will recognize a psychological father in court. I'm not an attorney, but I am a paralegal for a child support attorney, and actually deal with this kind of thing a lot. Seek legal advice and definitely petition the courts for some kind of custody. Good luck. That little boy is so lucky to have you as his daddy. Fuck man, I'm sorry. I can't tell you what to do, but it sounds like you need to stand your ground against her and fight for your kid. I know it's been said, but definitely get legal advice and see what your options are before anything else. I wish you the best, brother. Surviving infidelity. Hug. If your name is on his birth certificate, that should mean something in the eyes of the law, right? At least I hope so. So sorry to hear this happen to you. I really think you should get legal advice. Also, legal advice could be more relevant subreddit to ask for advice when it comes to these kinds of blackmail and threats you're getting from your girlfriend. Good luck. Not a lawyer, but I am pretty sure your name on the birth certificate is enough to have you on the hook for child support, which also means you've got a shot at custody. Get a lawyer. Work out a custody agreement. Big props to you for not being like the clowns in your replies talking about bouncing on a 7-year-old whom you've been dad to his entire life. That's some stand-up guy shit. I'm so sorry. I can't imagine how hard this must be. I echo what others have said about your legal options. Below is an article with just a loose idea of laws that might apply to your area. Talk to a lawyer if you can. Please get off Reddit and get qualified advice from a reputable divorce lawyer. Most men fall to pieces in these situations while the wife schemes and prepares with a far more talented lawyer. Definitely seek legal advice. Are you on the birth certificate? There's been other cases that are the opposite, where the man is on the birth certificate but later proved to not be the bio dad but legally still had to pay child support and everything. If you want custody or visitation with your son, you might be able to get it. Play nice with her until you have answers. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with this. Document and lawyer up. Friend of mine in northern US got sole custody and child support from his wife for 3 kids. 2 of them weren't even biologically his. Dude. The other guy isn't even alive. You don't need to worry at all. You can easily file for custody and have shared custody. Because essentially you are the father. Most states acknowledge that a man who signed the certificate, raised the child, is considered father for all purposes. I know it's a shitty law, dupes men for child support, but man for once law is on your side. You are legally his father and you would get custody. Sue the shit out of her and pay for a lawyers that will drag her through mud cause she deserves it. Talk to a lawyer ASAP to go over your options. I am so sorry to hear about this. I had a falling out with a friend, partially over her willingness to leverage her kids for attention. It's disgraceful. As others have commented, it looks like you have a case for custody. I'm glad you have a temporary place to stay and some support. You got this. Sending you a hug. Purple heart. She obviously doesn't love you, because she wouldn't use your kid as leverage. She's literally using my son against me. Yeah bro, he ain't your son though. Mister. Fight for your son. Even if you're not his biological pops, he loves you like one. Prepare yourself mentally. She will always use your son as a weapon against you. Please don't stay together for your son if you can't eventually forgive her. No matter how young, kids can feel the toxic energy. I am a child of divorce, pretty close to the same age as your son. I had a wonderful childhood with loving parents who just happened to not be together. They both happily remarked and were able to be better parents for it. If you're on the birth certificate, you should be okay. Especially since dad is dead and won't be ponying up child support. I had a boyfriend who had a woman put his name on a birth certificate while he was deployed in the First Gulf War. Never could get his name off and to pay child support because the judge wasn't going to make the kid a bastard. From this moment on record everything. It's not unknown that women have privilege over men in the court system, especially when it comes to children. She can't take away your son, that's a bullshit threat. Whenever you talk to her, stay calm and get her to admit everything while you record to show the courts when the time comes. Not to mention in these situations it's common for domestic violence to arise and even false allegations etc. To protect yourself, please record anything and everything, and I wish you the best of luck to have a great future with your son. Dude, you need a lawyer. She is fucking with your head and you need professional legal advice. You've taken on the responsibility to be the kid's father, DNA or not. You've built a relationship as dad and son. If you want to continue, get a lawyer and go for custody. The courts look at the relationship too. There is no valid reason for you to get back together with her. Not a single one. Not even your son. I don't know what to tell you, but damn, what a fucking awful bitch. First go to a lawyer. If you are signed in the birth certificate as his father, then you have rights and you need a lawyer to fight for your interests. Don't give in to her demands. Never forget, if the guy wouldn't be dead, then she wouldn't even call you, she would be with him right now. You are her plan B, nothing more. In addition, go to a doctor and get tested for STDs. Tell family and friends what she did and talk to them, ask them for support. Legally you're still his father, with all of the rights that attach to that. You have been for his entire life, and the biofather is dead and has been no part of his life. Think of it as him being your adopted son, at least in a legal sense. The mother doesn't have the power to just reverse that at will. You must seek legal advice, but with assistance there is no reason you should lose your son if you separate. You should do that ASAP, and get formal order put into place to protect your rights. Don't let it go. Don't agree to things you don't want. Make sure everything is in a formal agreement that is recognized by a court. If you fight for him, you're in a very strong position to have a shared custody arrangement. You're on his birth certificate. See a lawyer and get 50-50 custody. Don't get back together with her. Get an order in place for visitation. She keeping you away is parental alienation. That is a crime. You will be paying child support. Get a lawyer. Ask for a police enforcement clause as well, because she has demonstrated that she will use the child as a weapon. Record all communication, especially where she says she will keep him away from you. I am sorry you are going through this. Get a lawyer. I'm so sorry, I can't believe she cheated then led you to believe you were his father the entire time. If you signed the birth certificate, please hire a lawyer and fight like hell. You are that boy's father and the mother is a terrible person. They're a special place in hell for people like your ex-wife. What a terrible person she is. Truly. The worst. Get a lawyer and go ham on her evil ass. If you're on the birth certificate, you are legally his father. Talk to a lawyer. Go for custody. You're his dad. A judge will be able to see that. I don't know California law, but I have heard it's more fair to fathers than some other states. I would try to make it as amicable as possible, but make sure you do what's right for you. See if you can reason with her, take time to work things out, but make sure you get what you need, access to your son. Try to get things in writing, and make sure you make clear and reasonable requests. It might take a while, but it will be worth it. Is your name on the birth certificate? Why get the paternity test done if you don't care that he's not your biological son? Were you blindly hoping that it would show you to be the father? If you're on the birth certificate and have acknowledged paternity, you're his father. I'd fight for full custody and make her pay child support. Adopt him, then divorce. Legal advice. This above the pay grade of this forum. You need to consult a family lawyer who can pragmatically walk you through your options. Meet with a lawyer ASAP. If you are married to the mother, you can be held financially responsible for children born during the marriage regardless of paternity. So that confirms legal paternity, seems to me. And at 7, he should have some influence. Seek legal representation. Legal advice. Talk to a lawyer about your son. I would guess that you have an excellent chance of getting joint custody because you have been acting as his father for 7 years and I assume your name is on the birth certificate. See a lawyer as soon as possible so you know what actions will help your case and what actions could hurt your case. You don't want to accidentally sabotage your custody. I don't know what relationship there is to work on. Paternity fraud is not just worse than cheating, it's orders of magnitude worse. She did both. How can you trust her about anything important ever again? Wait some time to see if your fake parental love feelings will wear off. That isn't to say that they don't matter inherently, just that it could take a while before the realization that this is some other mon's child sinks in. Alternatively, you could totally continue feeling the same way. If you are on the birth certificate and in the child's life, you'll likely get to keep a relationship. But you are looking at this all wrong. It sucks to raise a kid by yourself and she will likely need money, etc. She's attacking you emotionally, but in reality you hold the cards. Whether you get a divorce or not, you will have to work out a co-parenting solution with your wife. You sound like a good dad, and I know you'll be there for your son. You'll teach him to be an upstanding man, and he'll love you. He'll grow up to include you in his adult life, and if you're both lucky, you'll live to see grandchildren. However, all that is going to hinge on you and your wife putting up a cooperative partnership, even if it isn't one in marriage. You will have to get along with your wife and accept that the other man is no longer able to be held accountable. So buckle in and get some therapy. Your son is going to have a healthy, happy relationship only if you can hold things together. Go to legal, but your best bit will be to go and get a custody agreement. At this point you are the presumed father and the courts will more than likely see it that way. If you get a custody order, she can't pull this and you are left to have a relationship with your son, because after 7 years he is yours, and be done with her if you please. Good luck 4-leaf clover. 7 years. Fuck. I'm sorry. Get a lawyer who specializes in family law and father's parental rights as fast as possible and hope to God you don't live in Utah. You need a good lawyer. You have a very good chance at getting custody, or at the very least visitation rights. You were there for him the past 7 years, you're still his dad. If it's any consolation, my DH is very close to my Phil, who adopted him as a toddler. One question: did it stop before he died or after? Because very likely if it stopped because he died, then there's a good chance she would still be cheating on you if he would still be alive, and it may be painful, but if you do plan on going back to the girl, ask her ex-friend for details and times, and if what she says and her ex-friend says are different, walk away and seek legal advice.